bro. The lighting and the mic.
Yeah, I might have to hire somebody to come in here and do. Hey, let me ask you this: is styrofoam in the studio? Is that still what goes down, or that shit been proven to be a waste of time?
Well, it doesn't soundproof. I mean, basically, like you have a lot of different environments. So you have in two extremes. One environment is called a reflective environment. Another environment is an absorbent environment. So a reflective environment is where you hear the frequencies bouncing back and forth off the walls and shit. And in an absorbent environment, they're more absorbed as the term goes. So maybe you have curtains, maybe you have rug. It all depends on what the surfaces are like. And then it's the microphone and the microphone placement, and then it's the preamp. So there's a whole bunch of things that are going to give you that sound where you don't really hear, like, you might not really want to hear too much of the room. You just want to hear the voice.
My man, we ain't gonna say your name yet. My man, we're going too deep because that's part. Hold on. Before I even fuck around.
So wait, what kind of cat you got?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, just little Tabby. Tabby, that little rescue cat. I picked her up about 4 years ago.
Okay.
She never left.
Yeah, my wife and I, we had a Siamese cat for about 13 years, man. And,
oh wow.
Oh man, that was my little partner right there.
Man, you heard? It's a vibe, man. It's a vibe.
you gotta earn the love of a cat. You heard?
Yeah, you gotta earn it. But you know what, man? They like a dog. You can the only time a dog don't fuck with you is if you beat him. Right. You gotta be an asshole for a dog not to fuck with you. You gotta be a real heinous, low level, low frequency individual for a dog to not fuck with you.
Right.
They'll come around and shit. You know what I mean? You feed them, right. Cool. But cats, they're completely vibe creatures.
Yeah.
And you can't make them love you.
Nope.
You cannot. You could feed them. You could give them water. You could keep the fucking shitter clean.
Right.
And they'll still just be like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. You got me up in here.
Right. It's like, all right.
So y'all ready to start?
Yeah, man, I'm ready, bro. Kick it in.
3, 2, 1. Let's jump off. What's up, y'all? It's your main man, Jason. Sands on Sports, hip hop and sports entertainment at its finest. That's right, y'all. The big kid is at it again. Season 6. I believe this is episode number 112. Shout out to the group 112. And today is sports history. Not today, tomorrow in sports history, August 3rd. My sister's birthday is Shayna Dang, so shout out to Shayna. But Jesse Owens broke those 3 world records in the Olympics.
Wow.
Tomorrow on August. What year?
1936?
1936.
36.
So yeah, that's a big date in sports history for tomorrow.
Yeah.
As I said, you're locked in. This is Sands on Sports, the first hip hop and sports podcast started in 2008. Interviewed Royce the 5'9" here in Baltimore for allthehiphop.com. Got fired the first day after that interview, but I've been still cranking them out ever since. I got my co-host with the co-most, my cousin Tahir Jahi. He's up in the building. Cuz, how you doing?
I'm feeling fantastic. You know,
you look at real sheenish. You look a little cocoa buttery out that motherfucker. What the fuck going on in
sunny out here in sunny California? You heard?
Yeah. God damn. What's the commercials? Luster Silk or whatever. Hey.
That beard got the soul glow on it. The beard got the soul glow on it too, bro. You doing it.
Yeah, you been good though? You been good though, cuz?
Huh?
So you been good though?
Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Just getting up in the morning, get my 3 mile walk and run in. You know what I mean? Like get my vibe going on. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling fantastic.
Yeah. I've been playing college football all fucking week. I've been a disaster. My daughter can't even get on the PS5, right? She's playing to my wife. I can't get him. Daddy's on the PS5. I can't play Roblox and Fortnite. What the fuck? Yo, bro, I'm on the college. Yo, but now I got 2 teams. Cincinnati Bearcats. Yeah, who I played with, but I also played with Ole Miss. Shout out to my man John Saunders Jr., safety from the hood. His dad from the hood, Manchester, so he's on Ole Miss. So those are the two teams. Like you know, everybody wants to play with Georgia and Alabama. So it's like I'm going with the Cincinnati Bearcats against Georgia, Alabama. I'm winning some though. But it's just not logical. But that's what I've been doing. Look at my thumb. My thumb is all bruised up from playing this damn college football. And it's increased my weed intake about at 35% because I'm nervous, motherfucker, after the game. Like,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
hey.
But
You gotta go with the alma mater. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So that's me. I just been on college football the last few weeks. Cut my grass today. So yeah, everything is smooth in Jay Sands' world, and I'm just happy because today on the show I got somebody who I've known for a very long time. I got introduced to him by making beats on my People's Unspoken Herds album. You feel what I'm saying? But as you crack the layers, this brother do some engineering. He running studios. This brother he got a gym. So anyway, this is gonna be a very interesting conversation. I got my brother from New York City, Djinji Brown. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm great, man. Yeah, the D is silent like Django Unchained, man. So you go straight to the J's.
Okay,
when it comes to the phonetics, it's Djinji.
You heard the D.
a lot of folks get tongue tied. I'm good, man. I'm originally from New York, but I've been in Miami for 20 years now.
I know.
Yeah. I went from the Bronx to what they call Biscayne Boulevard. I've been there for 2 decades, and one of the best decisions. One of the toughest, but one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. And
I was just up at Corona Park with Busy B. We was up there Kid Capri, so I was just in the Bronx. And
you were just there.
I'm glad they're putting trash cans out there. Word up. Word.
Man.
Can you do me a favor and give everybody like a 20-second bio about yourself?
Okay, 20 seconds. Let me see. It might take 30, but Djinji Brown, born 1970 in Atlanta, Georgia. My father, rest in peace, Marion Brown, was a world-renowned jazz musician, alto saxophonist, who came into prominence during the mid to late 60s in the free jazz era. In 1968, 69, he met my mother from the Bronx. My mother was in Paris as well. She was a teenager, but she was part of a Black expatriate community, and she was there specifically to be the au pair, the nanny, for a writer and his wife. The writer's name was William Melvin Kelly, and he's no longer with us, but he was a very prolific writer at the time. She met my dad. They came back to the Bronx, got married in the projects, and boom. First 10 years of my life, I actually lived up in New England because my father was a professor of ethnomusicology, as well as a student at Bowdoin College. And then from Bowdoin, he went to Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut to get his master's degree. And everything was about music. He did his thesis on the spiritual awakening of John Coltrane, who he's on that album Ascension with him. My dad played with a whole bunch of people. Then my mother moved us back to the Bronx in 1980. So she graduated from Smith College in 1979. She got a bachelor's degree in anthropology, and she wanted to get her master's degree in library science. So she moved us back to the Bronx, 1980. I'm 10 years old. I had been visiting the Bronx for years because my grandfather lived there, in the Soundview section specifically. Okay. 880 Boynton Avenue was where I first landed in the Bronx, in the Soundview section. And that area was very, very prolific and very instrumental to, what we know as the foundation of the culture. Using the term hip hop in the context of that time frame is not 100% accurate because they didn't call it that then, right? But as we know it now, it came from that culture and all the elements that we all celebrate. Or just in New York City in general. So as a 10-year-old kid coming from New England, from Massachusetts to the Bronx, like now I'm living there, and I'm on the 14th floor of the projects, and my terrace looks right outside onto Boynton Avenue, and my oldest friend in the world, Blue Black from Unspoken Herd, lived in the same building. Yeah. So, I know him since I'm 3, and I'm not 3
Blue Black from the Bronx?
He's from 880 Boynton Avenue, like me.
I thought they was from Brooklyn, man. Why's always talking that Brooklyn shit?
They live in Brooklyn, and enough respect to Wes Jackson, who, he found his garden of growth in Brooklyn. Yeah. But the Sandbox
was in the Bronx.
The monkey bars
was in the Bronx.
The slides and the original swings.
It was in
the Bronx. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where we met. Our parents knew each other.
Yeah.
So, little boy, 10 years old, just out from the sticks. Now I'm in the bricks, and you just get overwhelmed by what's happening. You don't even know what to call it. I mean, Sugar Hill Gang was out at the time, and the term rap was being used, but it was still in its infancy. So identifying with this term called hip hop, and I'm hip hop, I don't really remember it as such. It was just like there was a way you dressed, the way that you thought, the way that and all the older brothers who were born in the late 50s, early 60s, 65, they were already in their 20s and shit and teens. So they're out there hanging out 10.
Yeah.
You got cats my age talking about, I was running the streets at 10 years old. Like, damn, I'm sorry, bro. You was running the streets at 10 years old. Yeah, I was looking at the jams from the terrace at 10 years old, but I couldn't go down there. I couldn't participate. I'm 10 years old. But so this is more than 20 seconds.
Goddamn.
Late 80s, I find my way down the subway, down the 6th train to the East Village, and I get into the punk rock hardcore scene.
Oh, okay.
And I rock and roll real hard for about 4 years, and then from there, I went to engineering school. And from engineering school, I found a gig at Green Street in the early 90s. Now we're into hip hop, and it's firmly entrenched in everything. Now it's like, it's established. It's a grown up.
Yeah.
It's not a kid no more. It's a whole thing. It's an industry at that point. Right. And man, so that was longer than 20 seconds, but
it's all good, man. Honestly, we haven't done a show in a long time, so you have to pay monthly for the podcast to get put out there. This shit ain't free, right? So boom,
right.
I ain't done a motherfucking show in so long. Nigga, talk. We got motherfucking time on the line.
This content.
We give it up to Keith Cowboy for coming up with the term hip hop, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yes, as far as I know. And these are things that I found out later in life. I'm not I knew that shit at 10 years old.
No.
Like literally, I'm not that type of scholar. I'm not a scholar. I was an observant. I was a fan.
Yeah.
I was on the sidelines watching all these, Raheem, baby. We had a little Raheem on our block. DJ Cool Clyde lived on our block. The Skating Palace.
Yeah.
Was DJ Lightning Lance lived on our block. Easy LG, Soul Sonic Force lived on my block. Lisa Lee is from my block. Her brother Phil Counts, rest in peace, is from my block. Tuffy's from my block. Disco King Mario was from up the block in Bronxdale Projects.
That's Busy B, man. We did the last podcast. Busy went on. He broke down Mario, as far as who he was and how important he was. Yep.
So I can remember clearly hearing his name ring in the streets as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, but it came with a lot of even back then, certain dudes' names just had legend around it, mythical. And one of the things I remember hearing about him was that he was functionally illiterate, but could put together a sound system blindfolded.
Yeah, I heard the sound system. Yeah.
And between Soundview Park, 100 Park, he was in Rosedale Park. We had Boynton, a basketball court. Within a 2-mile stretch, bro. I mean, not even a mile. A mile circumference, north, south, east, and west. There was just so much shit happening that I did not have to understand it all to feel it all.
Yeah.
And that's how most of us we just grew up like, this shit there's a jam over here. You could hear the fucking the sounds reverberating off of the project, making their own echo chamber because of the reflective environment that concrete creates. You just heard it, you felt it. So It literally was in the air. It was in the air up there.
I'm so glad that we're getting a timeline together when it comes to hip hop culture, right? You know, Disco King Mario, you got DJ Smokey. These are names that I never heard of until these past couple years. So, very important to hear those names. Quick question. So you traveled with your father, right? Which kind of shaped your musical taste, and you know, and of course your career. How did you, based off of what you were with your father when you came into the Bronx and heard a lot of, how did it touch you?
My main musical influence was my mother.
Okay, she had the records. Okay,
because she bought records. She was much younger than my father, and she grew up. She's born in 49. My father's born in 31. You remember Crooklyn?
Yes.
So it's loosely based on Spike Lee's life, and Delroy Lindo plays an adaptation of Bill Lee in a way. Very serious, astute, Afrocentric jazz musician. Wasn't nothing fun about music. He was very serious, and it was a political and a national and cultural statement. My dad was a cool dude, but you know, avant-garde jazz, you know, like them cats laugh with each other, but not with most other people. So you can't dance to that shit now.
Right. Real.
Kids want to dance, and women traditionally do, like mothers dance. Right. So I grew up with her records. So by the time we got to the Bronx, the cultural phenomenon was not the music. The cultural phenomenon was seeing it in the street and seeing kids participate in it. But she had Cheeks, she had Funkadelic, she had Smokey Robinson, she had all these. Man, look, my mama got the records, some of the records that, you know, we now like, oh shit, that's the holy grail. She had that shit. So I grew up with that musical diversity of her craze. Yeah, John Coltrane was there, but so was Taj Mahal. So was the Delphonics. I got that shit, man. Look, it's the motherfucking. This is her copy from 1970, man. I mean, this is the original.
Yeah.
And I got my shit on kind of fuzzy wuzzy, but you know, like that's her record.
The diggers know.
That's her record. No. So my mother was the real influential parent. I didn't really start to understand jazz until I became a teenager, because it took me that long to really be like, what are they talking about? What are they doing? What is this language actually saying? But once I finally heard it, I couldn't unhear it. And I tell you a funny story. Me and my man one day, we ate an eighth of mushrooms, smoked about an eighth of weed, which is a lot for like two teenagers. For a fucking grown ass man, it's a lot. For teenagers, it's a lot. And we listened to a bunch of records, but two in particular. Both records I grew up with, but both records I had never heard that way until that day. And I understood both my parents much better after hearing these two records. Superfly, I understood my mother whole much better. And A Love Supreme, I said, this is what he's been doing. It took shrooms and some fucking good weed. I said, this is, oh shit. This is why this is it. I was 18 or 19. At 17, I was already starting to get a little glimpse of my father's musical brilliance. But it took train, listening to that record and that mindset, that completely open mindset, to say, oh my God, now I understand what's inside of me, what's inside of us, what's inside. Like I heard it, I felt it. You know,
I've been telling my cousin to smoke weed for years, to hear that shit, hear them beats on the weed. He don't smoke no weed.
Well, I stopped smoking 10 years ago, so that's another story. But man, I used to be
smart. Smart.
Bro, I used to be over the top, but yeah. So I you know the records that became known as, you know, hip hop. It was Disco King, man. All this stuff in the beginning, you know. So Jimmy Castor's Just Begun. Jimmy Castor lived in 880 Boynton Avenue, in the building I'm from 1960 to 1972. So as that song is becoming a Bronx anthem, the brother actually lives there. Dr. Buzzard's original Savannah Band, they from the Bronx. I mean, this music it wasn't called that then, but this is the stuff that was being played, you know? And I mean, we've all heard these things many, many times. I remember Blue Black put me onto the tapes. It was Blue Black that put me on to, yo, check out this tape I got from my cousin. Got this tape. Blue Black's cousin, I forget his name, but his cousin would give him tapes from Tape Master or tapes from Harlem, and we'd hear fucking Kool Herc and the Herculoids. We'd hear the L Brothers. We'd hear the Cold Crush. We'd hear the Fantastic Romantic Battles from Disco Fever. Like, now that I didn't get from my mom. I got that from Blue Black. You had to get that shit from the hood. You had to have an older brother who knew an older cousin who had somebody that was actually in the street that could get these tapes. And then when that shit hits you and you're a shorty, that's like smoking weed for the first time. Yeah. That's your first get high. You're like, yo, what is happening with this cassette? And now this thing is really becoming like crystallized.
Hey, look, he made the heart. He made the heart.
Yeah, bro. It's really like
love is coming out.
I'm saying when you do the emoji, it activated the emoji on your app.
Oh, that's funny.
So mad hearts just popped out when you did the heart shit. Mad hearts just popped out.
Well,
hey, that's appropriate. He was speaking from the heart. Yeah.
Hey, hold on. I gotta be the host of the show. We gotta get back on schedule. So, Mr. Brown, I want to ask you a question. Because we do this with everybody on Sands on Sports. What is your favorite team starting with football?
Bro, I am a non-team sport dude, man. I am a hand-to-hand combat, one-on-one, because I sucked at sports. Here's the accountability. I sucked at it. I got beat up in football. I had no handle in basketball. I got laughed off the court. A lot of cats won't tell you that they sucked. Everybody want to tell you that they was good at shit. I wasn't good at team sports, and I was bullied. So I learned how to fight. That was that was JD's revenge. You understand?
Okay. Well, here we go. Right here. MMA or boxing?
For me, it's always going to be boxing, but I understand MMA because I studied Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. I've studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've studied Capoeira, which was my first Brazilian martial art. I've done Filipino stick fighting, knife fighting. But the hands, there's a certain brutal elegance to being able to ding somebody up just with these and with your mind and with your hands and the proper footwork. But I appreciate MMA, but it's just not my thing. I prefer boxing. I prefer boxing.
Can Jake Paul be the real fighter?
At this point, I mean, he's beating people who are fighters. The term real is kind of up for debate. Like the people he's fighting haven't gone through the same. Boxing doesn't have an NCAA. It doesn't have, you're not recruited out of high school. Boxing was a poor man's sport where you fought your way out of poverty. So you had cats going pro at 15 in certain countries, pro at 17, like Benitez and shit, youngest fucking pro from Puerto Rico. Canelo went pro in Mexico at 15 years old. Boxing's different. Boxing's really different, and when you win because you won. When you lose because you lost. Yeah. There's not a teammate that you can say, yo, this motherfucker fucked up. Like, it's going to force you to face accountability. So the people that Jake Paul is fighting, they didn't go through that traditional tutelage, the amateurs, the nationals. He's fighting guys that are strong and they're athletes. They're definitely athletic and they're combat athletes, but it's like being a rapper and being an MC. It's different categories to it. It's different levels to it.
Yeah, and I'm all out of order with the interview, but I don't give a fuck. Okay, the Olympics is going on right now.
Yeah.
I noticed the guys boxing aren't wearing headgear anymore. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I can tell you a little bit of a timeline. They actually didn't wear headgear until 1980. If you go back and look at Sugar Ray Leonard fighting in 1976, you'll see a gearless Sugar Ray Leonard, and that's how we knew what he looked like. So the headgear came in, I believe, in 1980. By 1984, when we have the dream team of boxing at the time, Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, Mark Breland, Tyrell Biggs, and your man Evander Holyfield, they're back in headgear. 88, same thing. Roy Jones. So what the headgear did was it was supposed to stop or minimize head damage brain damage, but you stop being able to actually see your favorite fighter come up. You couldn't really see his face, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they've done studies over the years where the headgear really didn't minimize as much brain damage as people presently thought. Now, although I don't follow football, guys who wear football helmets still get CTE.
Yeah. It's not your brain. It's not, okay, your brain gets hit here. No, it's this, and then your brain cracks against your wall.
Bingo.
All the impact is happening inside your head. You can't put no padding inside your head.
So what headgear did was it reduced the potential for you getting cut. See, fighters didn't want to get cut before their fights.
Yeah.
An amateur didn't want to get too much scar tissue and cut before he turned pro.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen once you get them 10-ounce gloves on your face, right? Well, MMA guys get more cauliflower ear, but still, a lot of boxers back in the days used to get smacked in the ear. So the headgear was more about preventing cuts over the brow.
Yeah.
Right? But in the Olympics, the cheeks are open. And if you've ever been hit flush right there, that shit still fucking hurts.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't stop you from getting your nose broke or a black eye. And if you got a thin chin like me, if you get hit at the right spot, you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
You see certain cats, they got bigger heads so they could take fucking punishment. Like Marvin Hagler, rest in peace. Just his genetics was like, he could take a punch, but his genetic, look at his face, bro.
Yeah.
Leonard's face was different. He had to...
Yeah, he had to pray.
He had to move because he was a little thin, pretty motherfucker. So his defensive skills, and even a guy like Tyson was like, I don't want to spar with headgear because it makes me not think so defensively. So I understand it from a boxing standpoint, and as far as it being more dangerous in the Olympics now because there's no headgear, I don't think it actually is. These fighters get to that level, and hopefully their defensive skills are as sound or if not more than their offensive skills, because if you play in water polo and you can't swim, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
So although I don't really follow a lot of team sports, I do understand some things about protective equipment, about contact and combat, and the difference between contact sports and combat sports. Yeah. But that's where that's at.
You're not a Yankees fan? You ain't never liked the Yankees?
I mean, I grew up with them, but I stopped really following the Yankees in the late 90s. I was into them in the late 90s. I was into them, like, especially the pitchers, because my man put me on to the science behind how the pitcher really dictates the game. When you're a kid and you don't understand, you think it's the batters, but it's not the batters, it's the pitcher that dictates the rhythm of the game. And, when you're watching Mariano Rivera, you're seeing a thing of beauty. Mm-hmm. But I kind of stopped fucking with identifying with team sports for a lot of different reasons. I like I said, I just kind of fell more into, not so much me against the world, but like that team ain't gonna back me up if I got to defend myself getting home. Yeah. So I put more of my energy into like martial arts, into boxing, into I got to be my own team to a degree.
Check this out. They say a lot of times, because this is a section that we got called Back When I Played. So they say a lot of times when a dude go in the gym, like say young buck, he go in the gym 22 years old, he start getting 24, he's all, and he want to test the muscles out. so look here. You got a lot of training, you mess with the martial arts. Do you have an actual story when you had to use that shit on a nigga?
In a way, yeah. And it was a sneaky kind of way, like, man, and I was a grown-ass fucking man, too. So it's a funny story. There was this brother around my way who was the supreme athlete. He left the planet too early. Rest in peace, Rob Burton. This brother did everything well. No, exceptionally well. His brother, Rob Burton, was a professional boxer from the block and our pride and joy. And Rob was his younger brother by a few years. And Rob could just do anything. You give him a bat, he's hitting a home run. You give him a football, he's running the whole field. You give him whatever, bat. He just had this chromosome of coordination that you're born with, God's gift. But he also used to knock motherfuckers out throughout the Bronx. If you fucked with Rob, you better have hands, because if he came to see you, so he had that legend about him, and he always made sure that people around him, you know, he wanted to make sure that you had a little, so you didn't have to be a hard rock, but you couldn't be, he's gonna make sure you was accountable. You had to stand on your own square if you're gonna fuck with Rob. But we grown-ups now, and I smashed up a car in the Bronx one day. I was drunk, had a little 3 Series. I'm coming home from DJing and then the strip club and all kind of debauchery and drunk, driving 110 miles an hour on the Bruckner Boulevard, and I crashed. Spun out, whole shit fucked up, boom. Anyway, my car's beat up. My man Rob says, yo, I got this dude who'll fix it. The dude who was supposed to fix it fucked it up even worse. And after months of chasing the guy down and him taking all my money and giving me a fucked up car, I said, yo, Rob, I got to go see your man. Now, I know that's your man. He said, look, man, that motherfucker get me upset too, but he got my car. I can't fuck him up, but if you want to, I got your back. And if Rob rolls with you somewhere to see somebody, you better do something. You couldn't come back to the block on some I changed my mind shit. You couldn't do it. So we go see old boy in the South Bronx. And I'm like, yo, my man, you know, He said, hey, man, come on, stop fucking with me. Let's go for a little walk. So I take this car for a walk. And what martial arts teaches you is to attack without telegraphing. If you can do that, you understand the sign. You're not sneaking a motherfucker. You're right there on him. Bang! Don't telegraph. So walking with this dude down the block, trying to rest my case. Like, brother, you took my money. You fucked up my car. His guard is down. He said some stupid shit. I turned around with a full left hand and I smacked him so hard, like I hooked off with a smack. Bang! So it was a hook, but with an open palm. I'm not proud of this. I did it right in front of a Latino tabernacle.
We celebrate that.
Brother, I got him. His face swole up.
Yeah.
Rob thought I shot him and made so much noise. He said, did you have a gun with you? I said, no, it was my hand. He said, damn, Jen, I knew you was out there doing kicks on the trees and all of that Bruce Lee shit, but I didn't know you had it in you like that. So that was the only real time I had to put my hands on somebody in the street.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even give him a chance to hit me back. He just started crying. So
yeah, I bet.
It was that.
Bet. You ever watch the Smack game where it be 2 big niggas and they be, whoa!
I've been there. I would never do that shit again.
I know. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I did it. I'm not doing that shit. That shit hurt.
I'm gonna smack you with a gun, motherfucker.
Nah, man, look, I'm at this point in my life, man, like, in all honesty, where I'm 54 and I was able to navigate the pitfalls.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't get, I'm so blessed that my life has led me to where it's led me, that I trained all these things because my little boy needed to feel safe inside of me. Then I had a daughter. I needed to be able to take care of her. But, people ask me now, like, what would you do? And I'm like, man, I got nothing to prove. I know how to use a firearm. I'm not a master, but I can operate it safely. Right? Yeah. I can, put things on target. I don't want to hurt nobody, bro.
Hell no.
But I understand that a dangerous man is a good man who understands violence.
Yeah.
You need men who can understand these things and know when to utilize this when they need to, but to utilize it when you don't need to is a waste of your energy, is a waste of your power, and it doesn't do anything for the community, doesn't do anything for your family or the world. It actually takes us away from our communities, takes us away from, the people who need us the most when we act out of turn.
I'm about to end this section, but this is something that Georgia, and shout out to Georgia and Modro, my sis, but she said that hip hop is a solution-based invention, meaning that it was invented to create solutions. So when you're using hip hop and you're not creating solutions, then it's not hip hop, because hip hop was brought here to create to bring people together, bring ideas together, understand why we are going at each other, and calm that down. Like one thing Busy said was that Mario was one of the dudes that could bring everybody didn't have the pool in the Bronx to say, hey, we're gonna party over here and everybody's safe. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mario was one of the voices who could say, hey, you stay over here, come party. If you bring that thing, we got more things, you in trouble. You know what I mean?
Right. Because he had the black space behind him. Not behind him, with him. He had the black space with him. So, you know, if you're and even before I knew about the black space, I knew about Bronxdale Projects. And I mean, you know, Bronxdale Projects was like, you don't go in there beating your chest. Why would you do that? If you know the actual projects where the space came from, you know, you would understand completely why you have to behave. And if you don't behave, you'll be shown out.
Yeah, no,
you have to behave.
Well, hey,
but
go ahead, go.
No, so when that statement of hip hop being solution oriented, I think that's absolutely correct. And even before it was on a social level and being conscious of it being a social solution, it was a creative outlet and an artistic solution, because one of the things that we lacked in the North was musical education in school. We had bands, but it wasn't like in New Orleans. It wasn't like the South, where you got marching bands for the black colleges. That's the whole culture. I mean, they made a movie called Drumline about that. Well, in the Bronx, we didn't have that type of education, but we still had the rhythm.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find a solution like, how do I get this shit out? And ancestrally, it's in you. You're not intellectually understanding that you are a descendant of rhythm makers.
Yeah. But
shit, you feel it. You don't have to intellectually understand these things to create from that source.
Yeah, true indeed.
And especially as children. I mean, we didn't really have all this intellect.
You don't know what you're doing. Under 21, you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
But you got the source.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
But you got the source. You got the heart.
Yeah, that's what you got.
And you got the confidence, like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this shit, whether it's mixing these breaks for these dancers or on the mic, spray painting this fucking building because my community looks like shit and these colors make it look nice. Kids write on walls with crayons, bro. All kids do that. I don't care, white, black, red. You give a kid a crayon on the wall and the wall is white, that kid's doing this.
You know, we drew strike zones and then we started playing baseball.
We used to do that up against the back of the building. We had the box with an X and a little stick and the fucking Spalding ball. Throw that shit and boom. Absolutely, we did that.
Oh, man. What I wouldn't give to be a kid again. But hey, let's keep it moving. KIM, let's keep it moving. You hear the sound. What that sound means is that we are going out of the first quarter and in the second quarter. Now check this out, man. During the second quarter, I want to ask you, what the fuck is all the weights you got? You got the dumbbell, you got the one, the kettle drum. You're hitting that kettle drum, and then you got the one thing. You're like, wow, the little metronome.
Yeah.
What's them tools you using, my brother?
Kettlebells and maces. So the bell, the kettlebell.
About to get some shit, y'all. See, you left. You about to get some shit.
This is one of them.
Ooh. Yeah, that gets you right.
Yeah, it's a full body tool. I got the mace.
So that's called a mace?
No, that was called a kettlebell.
No, I mean what you bringing right now.
Oh yeah, this is a mace.
So check it out. King Arthur, they have the spike mace.
That's where it come from. Yeah, hold on. Let me get this blurry shit out. I don't even know how to get this background change, but this is the steel mace.
Yeah.
This is a 15-pound one. I got a 10-pound and a 20-pound.
Yeah.
I got kettlebell weight from 26 pounds to 70 pounds. And they are very effective because they utilize your whole body. Like, it doesn't isolate body parts. You know, it's fully functional. Man, I got into it because I had really damaged my shoulders from boxing.
Okay, me too. Not boxing.
Yeah, I mean, my shoulders were in pain. I've got a broken knuckle that I've been dealing with for years, a broken hand. So when I slowed down with the boxing, especially when I closed my gym, I needed to get stronger. I'm getting older, you know, I don't need to be real thin. I need joint stability. I need a little bit more muscle mass. I need to be able to protect what I got. So these kettlebells just got me right. And then I got back into my calisthenics and just hitting the bar. And it's just basic shit, bro.
Yeah, you just gotta do it. The hardest part is to start to do it. That's the hardest part, is to step in. Hey man, let's go do that. That's the hardest part. Hey man, let's go do that. Because once you get there, you hype, ready to get it in.
It's still hard for me. I wake up in the morning, I do my little meditation, I drink my cold brew coffee, I try to clear my mind or let the thoughts that come to my mind and see which ones need to stay, which ones need to go. And then I hit, 10 sets of 10 Tyson push-ups, Google Tyson push-ups. They're great. I try to get 100 push-ups in the morning. I got a little bullshit chin-up bar here. I do my little suspended rows because you want to keep your back strong. The back, man, if your back muscles aren't strong, gravity as you get older is going to make you do this. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
If things are going to start doing this and your head is already fucking heavy. And then when these muscles aren't strong to support, your neck muscles aren't strong to support, so people get old and then we on phones, gravity starts pulling you down and pulling you down. So the mace, the kettlebell, the chin-ups, the rows, the Tyson push-ups, they keep me like this.
Yeah.
It's not even about the muscle, it's just about the posture. Because you need it. And when you walk out your house and your posture is right, you send a signal to the world. Like, people look at me like I'm an athlete and I don't play sports, but I still have I have an athletic mind because I can move like an athlete. I can move athletically. I can move in different planes of motion with stability, which all athletes need.
Yeah. That a friend of mine's told me a long time ago, you can see a dude in cut off army fatigues, wife beater, looking broke as hell, but if he's cut up and fit, you're gonna be like, he's disciplined. Don't matter what he got on, but if he's cut up and fit, walking through the airport, it don't matter what he got on. You're gonna be like, there's some type of discipline with this man from the way he's built. You know what I mean? So
Something.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, I spent so many years in martial art dojos. I'm always looking at a cat's shoulders and his hands.
Yeah.
I get a good idea, like, okay.
Yeah.
And now with MMA, I look at a dude's ears and I'm like, oh shit, he grapples. I'll leave him alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing about it is that kind of like going to the gun range. You go to the gun range, you see a little, what's the guy's name from Ghostbuster? He was the neighbor, Lewis. I'm talking about with the glasses. Who was the guy with the glasses on Ghostbuster? The nerdy dude.
I know you're talking about, but I don't remember his name.
Okay. But guess what? He knows MMA and has a gun license now.
yeah, absolutely.
Rick Moranis.
Right.
Rick Moranis will put you in a lock and he will bust your ass from 50 feet. Right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's all accessible. You ain't got to go far to get all of this stuff anymore.
Yeah. So you spoke on it, but I knew it as well. You used to have a gym. What was that like? Having a place where people came to work out.
It was beautiful because, it was called Soulbox, SOLBOX. It was 9 years, an amazing experience, and it was a place where I brought everything together. So yeah, we're training physically, but it was a cultural center in the sense where, the music that's being played, we be shadow boxing to the fucking jizza shadow boxing. That was, I loved that, right? We had graffiti on the wall that was painted by my crew, Fame City Kings, and myself. We all did it together. So there was no like street art, but there was art from the street. The music was banging. It was a beautiful thing, man. I miss it, but I'm also glad that I'm not doing it anymore. But I'm so happy that I did it when I did it, because again, it was a way for me to bring everything together: music, art, culture, physical fitness, make it fun. And we taught the fundamentals of boxing. And as I was teaching them, I was still studying them.
Yeah.
And as a martial arts student, I was always very, keen on technique. Like, okay, understand this technique until you don't have to think about it anymore, until it becomes a part of your neuromuscular system. Not muscle memory, neuromuscular memory, right? That's where all your coordination lies.
Yeah.
From the brain, central nervous system to the muscles. Muscles by themselves can't do shit, right? You got to tell them what to fucking do.
Yeah.
So getting people who come in throwing punches like this, holding their hands right and bang, and bang, bang.
Yeah.
You know, I loved it. And as I learned, I'm teaching.
Yeah.
And as I'm teaching, I learned. So it was a great experience, man. A lot of people found out things about themselves that only a boxing gym can teach you or a martial art school can teach you. Like, can you get back up when it hurts?
Yeah. One thing I noticed about life is that life is chapters. Like when you're in the middle of something, like I think about when I was messing with Wes and Seven Heads and that period. You think that period's going to be forever till you're 80 years old? You're going to be sending Wes Jackson 1,000 records, and that's life. But life has chapters, and they're very meaningful as well. So I think when you do something, it ends. That's just a chapter, a rebirth of something new. There's nothing to be sad about. It's nothing to look down upon. Life is it's like a book. Life is a bunch of chapters, and you think you'll be doing something for a long time, and that motherfucking lane will switch, and you got to be able to work the next lane, the slow lane, fast lane, the middle lane. You got to learn how to operate in all of them because you never know when you're going to be in one. So that's my thing about life, and your gym is that's what it was. It was supposed to be that period of your life, and that chapter is done. Move on. So yeah, I respect that, bro. I definitely do, man.
You know who I ran into down here a few months ago?
Who that?
Your man, Mr. Ross.
Yeah, Jay Ross was down there DJing.
Yeah, he played at Dante's High Five.
Dante's High Five. Yeah. He's on those summer tour right now, getting that.
Yeah, man. I rolled up on him and he was like, "Oh shit!" Big ass. We hugged and everything. And it's nice to revisit people from chapters, and I also feel very blessed that like I'm where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And that I can have conversations about like I think one of the things about hip hop or about our generation, some of us, not all of us, is that we tend to stay identifying with those past chapters rather than evolving from them.
Yeah.
And you can definitely evolve in the music, like the new Common and Pete Rock project is an evolution.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, these brothers, you still hear their essence from 30 years ago, but how have they grown? It's a beautiful thing to see that they're not cursing in that shit. They're not talking about fucking people up. They're not talking about how bad life is. It's a beautiful album to listen to remind you that you can grow with this and you can take it to different levels. You can be, in your middle ageness and still be young at heart and still be fresh and still be, but leave certain chapters where they need to be. You refer to them, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Why stay there?
Why
stay there?
You only gotta read the slavery part of the encyclopedia once. You don't gotta keep reading that motherfucker. Okay, I know what happened. I'm gonna go read the good parts of the encyclopedia.
I don't want to read it no more. I ran into the brother Pasta Noose down here a couple weeks ago. He's another really beautiful cat, Mike. His energy when you meet him, it's solid, it's grounded, and it's beautiful. Like, not enough brothers are able to acknowledge the beauty in other brothers. We have to find another adjective. I'm gonna just use that word because, he's a solid cat. Him and his wife, beautiful couple. He's like, it was just nice to see him. Large Professor was down here DJing. I saw that brother. It was really, it's nice to see cats growing up, growing together, and still doing what they're doing, but from a different place. It's really dope. It's really dope.
Yeah, it's different. It's like my life now from when I was in my 20s and we met, totally different, but I'm kind of doing the same thing, but I'm doing it from a different perspective. Like I'm still rapping, still doing the same thing, but it's not the same thing. It's like I read the manual 100 times now. So that's how I feel at this age doing the things I do. Is like, I'll do it, but or matter of fact, I read the manual, so guess what, sir? I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stay home and play college 25 because I know that manual requires me bringing my pistol.
And I don't want to go there. I don't want to go. Brother Tahir, we haven't heard from you in a minute, man. Jump on in. You got some stuff you want to talk about? Ask. You got some things you want to talk? You
being quiet, cuz. You being.
Hey, I'm just listening to y'all. Hey, man, I'm just the co-host. I'm sitting here like.
He's the youngin' in the bunch, man. You know, young dudes, dude.
Well, that's why we need to engage you in the conversation, because we have to have this cross generational understanding. It's important. It's important because I feel like so much of my generation likes to talk about how this generation isn't doing this, isn't doing that. But if we're not having healthy dialogue, then how can we put anybody to blame if we're the ones who have this, history, this wisdom, or just this perspective? So what's going on with you, brother? How's your life, man? Where you at?
Oh man, well, the main thing is, my wife is fighting metastatic breast cancer. So that's been the last 7 years, going on 8 years. You know what I mean? She's been battling this thing, but it's been, the bell curves of life, right? You're sitting there, you're thinking like, man, the worst, and then you're like, oh, maybe we can beat this thing, and then things happen. I'm just inspired by her and watching her go through these peaks and valleys and being able to say, yo, I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? So she's inspired me I ended up doing something that I thought I would never do, skydiving, right? Jumped out of the plane. I was like, I'd never do anything like that. But I'm like, yo, watching someone fight for their life. And even those of us who have clean bills of health may not be here tomorrow. So how can I today do all that I can to accomplish that goal, right? Battle that fear, take on a lot of what's happening in the world right now, and saying, yo, like, I'm grassroots. I can step out in these streets and say a little something. You know what I mean? I can inspire folks. Hearing y'all talk, I'm like, man, like, it just, I feel a renaissance happening in music right now. I think there's a lot of people who realize that pop culture is not a culture at all. It's like a container to control the culture, right? So you sit there and you're like, man, like, we are the art. You know what I mean? Just like Jay Sands was saying, he was like, yo, like, I read the manual mad different times.
Yeah.
This experience that I'm giving you is actually what I've gone through. Like, when I listen to my cousin's records, I'm like, yo, I know he went through that. I can hear it. It's genuine. And that's what made hip hop what it is, before the money, it was just like, we living in this poor environment. Here's a feel good, Here's that solution that we're talking about, right? Solution based culture, So yeah, that's what that's kind of, sums up everything for me,
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I salute you and both you two, man, because y'all are married. I'm not married, so whenever I see brothers that are able to hold that down and do it from an authentic place, you become my heroes. I really look up to brothers who are that's been one of my missing links in being authentic. I have to be honest, right? My daughter's 27, 28. She's in a beautiful relationship. I talk to her almost every day, and I'm like, you know what? You and this brother have the tools to make it. And you want your children to have the tools that you don't have. Why would you want them to be lacking in the same areas that you lack? But I have other brothers that, they've been in really long-term relationships with their wives and in their families, and they've been through ups and downs. And so when I hear these stories, they inspire me to keep my heart and my mind open to a genuine connection, number one, not be afraid of it. And number two, to know that your heroes don't always wear capes, man. They're people just like you. They're younger, they're older. And I think it's a beautiful thing, man. So, you have all my blessings and my prayers to your wife and to you, and much respect for being by her side in the way that you are. Like, we I want to hear stories about that in the music, because that's the real, that's life.
That's funny. I actually got a record called Cancer Cells that I'm getting ready to record. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So yeah. Thank you for sharing that, man. Thank you for. I know I'm the one that's supposed to be in question, but I'm curious about the people that I talk to. So thank you for sharing that.
Again, this is my cousin. I've known he's been going through it, but it's not nothing that I really try to bring up on the podcast because I want this to be something he can escape from. But I'm glad he finally kind of brought it to the conversation so people can know, what this man is doing. You know what I mean? Just know a little bit more about him. Break it down. I'm gonna break it down a little bit. You know Old Head Paradise, right? From the X Clan.
Yeah.
That's his stepdad.
Oh wow, okay.
No doubt, yeah. Paradise in Pittsburgh, nigga. Rooting for the Steelers and the Pirates.
Hey, do you know Dazaz from Pittsburgh? Dasez, Dazaz.
No.
I ain't hit them.
I gotta link you with him on Instagram. That brother's from the Burgh. We met years ago. Him and his man Richie D Tempo. They had to deal with Def Jam years ago. He's a real deep and another solid brother that I want to connect you with. Really good cat. He's in my age group. Really good cat. Really good cat.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's from there. I think he's in Brooklyn. I met him in Brooklyn in the 80s, but
yeah, yeah. Most smart people who are from Pittsburgh aren't in Pittsburgh.
So,
man, you see this Titanic. Pittsburgh for black folks is Titanic. So the smart ones got the fuck up out of there. You know what I mean? And I just but you pay attention to what's going on at home, you be like, damn, man, the ship's sinking, and y'all motherfuckers don't even know y'all neck deep in water. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
I'm hoping I can bring something back to the Burgh. You know what I'm saying? I really.
Yeah. Oh, hold up. No, October 6th, Jay Sands Fundamental Baseball Clinic will be in Pittsburgh at Josh Gibson Field. November 6th, Sunday, free for all kids 15 and under. So we are doing that shit. Because I live in Baltimore, but I still trying to do shit back at the crib. And that's one thing we'll be doing in October. You'll hear more about it because this is the passion of mine to give kids opportunity through baseball. So that shit will be going down. And matter of fact, gentlemen, while we're at this point, let me do that. You hear the motherfucking sound? That means the second quarter is over, and we are going into halftime. Have y'all been watching the Olympics?
Yes.
I saw a little bit today. I saw a little bit at the office.
All right, big up Simone Biles. First of all, we got to get Simone out of here. Big up Simone Biles, greatest of all time, GOAT. No doubt.
Did y'all see the U.S. rugby team?
I heard they was wild. Yeah.
At the last 8 seconds, 8 to 12 seconds, I was like, I'm not really into rugby, but I stopped. I was like, yo, these girls is hitting. They out here tackling pretty hard. And I'm like, what?
No equipment.
Shout out to Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav is sponsoring the U.S. women's water polo team. He's out there with them in the water all the time, but he's also a financial contributor to their team. So big up Flavor Flav on that. Sha'Carri Richardson running and winning. Love that part of it. I watched a little skeet shooting. I watched some of that. I watched a little bow and arrow where they pull the joint all the way up to their mouth. I watched some of that. I've been checking the Olympics out. It's on all day, bro. The U.S. Olympic basketball team. I watched a little Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's the man, so I don't. The USA basketball team should win that shit. Break dancing. Hey, who's gonna win the break dancing gold medal?
I'm gonna say something completely off cuff. It's gonna be somebody not from America. Watch.
I got France.
France is a good contender. They love the culture.
They love breaking. Them motherfuckers will have a hip hop show, and the rappers will come on first, and then the breakers will close the show.
They love it.
At 3 o'clock.
They love it. So I forget the lady's name, and I've been told more times than I can count. So forgive me, but the goalie for the women's water polo team, the sister's from Miami.
Oh, say word.
Yeah, and not only that, but I have a coworker who went to high school and played water polo with her, so I should really know her name. Um, so forgive me for that, but yeah, a little Miami connection going on in the Olympics, which is dope. Which is dope.
Yeah. It's just that I remember as a kid, Carl Lewis, Jackie Joyner Kersey, Flojo.
That's the '84 Olympics in LA.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid. Then I remember when the Dream Team got announced, and those are Olympic moments. Carl Lewis, I remember Carl Lewis, Michael Johnson with the gold shoes. So I can't slight the Olympics. The Olympics got some fly shit.
It's got a lot of history to it. It did a lot.
And again, there's been a lot of progression through racial progress through the Olympics, from Jesse Owens to other athletes having to prove that, yeah, we are humans. We're just like you guys, but we're just better athletes. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
Yo, man, let's get out of this joint. We are out of halftime, and we are going to the third quarter. Now, to start the third quarter off, Djinji, I know you got a lot of mix in you, because I can see you got straight hair, you got So this is what I want to ask you, because we got our sister Kamala Harris.
Bro, it's just short, man.
I seen your hair growing out. Your hair, I seen you with the Djinji fro. I seen the Djinji fro before. But anyway, at Kamala Harris, she's running for president. And all I see on my motherfucking Twitter timeline is she's not black. So I'm gonna ask you and you, are y'all black?
I mean,
she got 100%.
The crazy shit is that other people started calling us that. We never called us that.
Yeah.
Like literally, just historically, even the racial construct of it was that, Europeans prior to the Middle Passage didn't call themselves white. Africans didn't call themselves black. Asians didn't call themselves yellow. They went by their nationality. So you're from Spain, you're from France, and from there you got your different tribes, and you're West African, you're from Senegal, you're from Nigeria, you're from here, or you're Native American, and you've got this tribe and that tribe. So most of us are a mix of everything, and black as a diasporic adjective encompasses a lot of people of color. If you go to India, you'll see people that are darker than us in certain regions of India. So yes, she is, and according to the United States, where you had to have, what was it? If you had 1/8 drop of blood, black, you were considered black. Whereas in other countries, you would be considered white if you had a majority of white blood, like in the Caribbean. So according to U.S. stuff, and that whole lopsided way of categorizing people, she absolutely is. Now,
I asked her. I said, "Are you?"
Oh, me? Well, shit, yeah, then. Because you got people questioning Kamala, and I'm like, yeah, she who she is. I mean, look, my shit is just gray right now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a mix of all of that, bro. I mean, look, I got Native American in me, I've got West African in me, I've got European in me. The fault lies in not knowing which specific ethnic groups make up the totality.
Yeah.
That's my fault. I don't know that. I can't tell you that, I've got, a certain percentage from what West African country, or certain percentage of this Native American, or what European master was up in some of my ancestors. But yeah, I mean, as far as America goes, I got to put black on all these fucking questionnaires.
Yeah, I'm black than the motherfucker too. And what I think is, it's just that, it's black Americans trying to distance themselves from people from Africa or other continents or other countries. It's just, we're black Americans, we're original black. And that, when I've traveled to Europe and I've met Africans, Them niggas is black like me. I never tried to they might smell a little stronger than me, but them niggas was black just like me. You feel what I'm saying? So I never had that distinction where I saw somebody from Africa, accent was a little different, and whatnot. I still looked at them because I said, yo, when the police pull you over, you're black, motherfucker. You feel that little Peter Griffin card? You're on the end of that shit, matter of fact, because you're darker than me, motherfucker. So, yeah, I've never really felt like Jamaicans fix my car. Them niggas just like me. That's how I feel. But there's just this thing like, I guess people are expecting a reparations check or something. I don't know if they're worried about how the reparations check is going to be spread, but first of all, we're not getting that shit. First of all, I'm not even fooling myself. And second of all, it's just what they call it, ADOS, or some shit, or FBA. And I just don't understand. It seems like you would want more people in your club than it's like some caste system. Like we're the superior blacks, and everybody who ain't from, if you're from Jamaica or Puerto Rico or any island, you're not American black. You ever seen them women in front of them islands?
You know what I think it is? You know what I think? You know what I think that mentality comes from? Absorbing a colonialist mentality, because colonialism says that our culture is stronger than yours.
Yeah.
So I think it comes from there. I think that, we do a lot of things unknowingly. I was always raised that, having a jazz musician for a father, I was lucky. My grandfather was a merchant marine, so he traveled the world. I had people from Saudi Arabia coming to my house in the Bronx, people from Italy, and in the same breath, my father took me over to Europe, to Japan. I was privileged enough to be able, at a young age, to see the world in all of its shades. I didn't grow up just looking through a set of blinders, and not many of us have that opportunity at a young age to shape your vision of the world. So back to an original question, through my father, he helped to shape my perspective of the world and my place in it. He's born in the Jim Crow South, but he did not raise me with the anger and the hatred and the bitterness that he could have because of his experience. He broke that cycle by becoming a musician, by traveling, by taking his art and seeing people of all different, But he understood that when he came back to America, he's a black man. He went to Korea and fought for the country. When he came back, he's still a second-class citizen. So he was fully aware of that dichotomy, of that contradiction. But in the same breath, he was like, look, bro, the world is really big, and this is who you are, but you're really who you choose to be. So don't let any of this stuff stop you from experiencing people, from meeting people, from being friends with people. None of it makes you less black or more black. Just be my father told me this. I'll break it down real quick. He said, I'm not black enough for the nationalists. I'm not bougie enough for the bourgeoisie. I'm just brown. I'm just who I am. And I'm at peace with that. And I was like, damn. And that really struck a chord with me for all of my life, because I didn't have to beat my chest about being who I am. I just had to step in my rhythm and just let that shit speak for itself. Yeah. And that's still how I really try to, live my life every day. I just step in rhythm. You know what I mean?
Awesome. So, first of all, I'm black.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you. You black about it?
I'm black. But I gotta push back a little bit. I think Djinji brought up a good point, right? Is back in it, people recognize their lineage and where they're from, right? They say, well, I'm Nigerian or I'm Jamaican, right? I don't see anything wrong with Black people who have been here long enough to call themselves Black Americans, right?
Absolutely.
You could say there wouldn't be an America without the ancestors who actually.
You have to say that. You have to say that. That's a fact.
Right. So
undisputed.
So I don't I think other groups of people, being out here in California, I run into people who are, Ethiopian, mainly, Nigerian, right? Igbo, right? I talk to people, and a lot of them don't really consider themselves as Black, at least out here, from my experiences. So I think the delineation when it comes to Black people, like look at the continent of Africa, it's like tribalistic as hell, right? Like,
yeah, still to this day. Yeah.
Right. So I think here in America, I mean, hearing both of your perspectives on it, we've actually been like one of the few groups of Black people in the diaspora that actually practice Pan-Africanism. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see people come here, like literally immigrate here, and they bring that here, and may call you a Jareer or may call you like names that are derogatory, and it's like, hey, without our fight, you wouldn't even be here. So I think
spot on.
It's a good thing that people are at least being checked on their lineage and knowing like, hey, you got to come over here with some respect. You know what I mean? Because you have access to a lot of these tools that we've actually paved the way for. So, there's a lot of people
100%
angry and you this, that, and that inner fighting. You're gonna have a lot of that, but I believe, all in all, it's gonna get worked out. I think we all realize, hey, we're all trying to fight white supremacy, right?
Hell yeah.
But that's just my thoughts on it. My family's from Pascagoula, Mississippi. You know what I mean?
Wilson
fought in every war. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's we put a lot of blood, sweat, you know what I mean, on this soil.
Mm-hmm. And abroad.
I've been to Ghana. I've gotten a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? It's love to the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got nothing but love. But at the same time, don't come here with the vitriol and the white supremacy kind of derivatives based on the fact that you have a green card. And now that you're here, you're going to treat Black people who paved the way for you like they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's my only pushback on it. But I don't think
that's a pushback, man. I think that's absolutely correct. I agree with you. I mean, if it is our struggle absolutely our struggle, our protest, our fighting for rights paved the way for other groups to come over here and basically, pick up their fight in the streets as well. I mean, it gets me upset sometimes because not enough people come here and want to understand our history past music and sports. If I go to another country and I say I'm going to live there for a better life, I need to understand the struggles of the people in that country. So here we are, we're talking about music and sports, but our greatness and our accomplishments in music and sports, like you said, Jermaine, earlier, they helped to break down some of these racial constructs in this country because it's all that we had. And it paved the way for other things politically and socially and educationally, and we're still fighting for it. So when people are able to reap the benefits of our fight and not give us credit for it, or not say, look, brother, I see you, and I'm going to fight alongside with you because it's a humanitarian thing, I think that word with the capital N, sometimes it ends with an A or an ER, is the big delineating factor in the diaspora. Because the negative connotation that it holds is 100% attributed to us. We've taken the word and changed it around, but I've heard other people from the diaspora say, look just like me, same color, maybe darker, but say, I'm not a nigger.
Yeah.
We've all heard it. We've heard it from, and it's just like when you understand the diaspora, when you understand colonization, when you understand, you said Nigeria and then you said Igbo, and I was like, bingo, see, he didn't go to the country, he went to the group. Like, that's what we don't know enough of. So we get, this umbrella term that yes, we've used it in an enduring way and we freaked it and we've turned it around. But for other people who learn about us, they learn about us through that derogatory fucking lens and people who look just like us. And it's hurtful. And it's like, damn, like, when I really got into Fela Kuti and understood where he was coming from, like, this brother was he's James Brown on political steroids. Right? And he was like, yo, he matter of fact, he came to Baltimore. He had a sister girlfriend in Baltimore that hipped him to the struggle. Wow. In the mid 60s. And he spent some time and he was like, oh shit. She, brought him up to speed on the Panthers, on this, on that, on the movement, and helped him. He studied in England. And then when he went back to Nigeria, he was like, oh shit. The colonization here is so crazy because it's not even a black and white enemy. It's a mindset. In America, y'all got this black, white, war, nigga, this, that. But here, the British came, did they thing and left, and now we're just here killing each other. It's deep. Like Fela's message is still so strong because again, that's James Brown on political steroids, bro. Just a speaker of unrelentless truth and a rhythm and a fucking beat that just, bro, that should make you want to go to war. Yeah. That should make you want to fight. It make you want to get out there and say what needs to be said through your music or whatever tool you have. It makes you just want to go out there and say it without any, unapologetically, But yeah, I agree with the brother. Like, what we've done in this country and how many countries and how many cultures we have influenced. And to bring it back to hip hop, it's probably the first time you've seen a culture and an art form created by children in its peak. In its peak, we're under 20 years old, bro. Somebody argue me with that. And it's a non-argumentative point. In its peak, you said it, we're in our 20s or teens, right? Rakim is how old is he when he makes fucking Paid in Full? Change the game. How old is Nas when he changes the game? How old is your favorite rapper, your favorite MC, your favorite when they change the game? And we're still trying to match that standard. How old is that teenager, that early adolescent that influenced people thousands of miles away? Kids. Just a powerful source of artistic energy and an ancestral energy to come through children. I mean, I'm gonna call them children now. I'm 55. I can call a 17-year-old a child.
Yeah, damn right. Whoop your ass.
Like, you a child. You 17. I don't give a fuck if you can rap. You a 17. You a baby. You my kid.
Yeah, that's ill. Yeah, man. That's ill, Ab. I got a 15-year-old in the house, my daughter, and she's big on wanting to change the climate. She wants to fight against climate change. She doesn't eat animals. She tries not to eat animals and stuff like that. Tries to do her 2 cents. And I just look at it as a bunch of adults making decisions for a place that won't be around to live in.
Bingo. I gotta get my charger. I'll be right back. But we got to pass it off to the kids, man, to the younger generation. We have to have this. We have to listen.
Yeah, you gotta listen to them because again, it's our future to an extent, but it's their
world. It's their world.
It's their world, man. Go do your thing, bro. Go do your thing. When you get back, we're gonna start the fourth quarter, and you see me do. I've been seeing that Trump meme where like they post a girl and she kind of fat. They be like, Trump be like, Trump be like, they be posting a girl in a bathing suit, and then as soon as you steal, they post a girl in a bathing suit. They be like, is she fat or is she thick? And then the motherfuckers start hitting that.
Yo. If anything, Donald Trump is funny, bro.
He's funny. Hey, look, you ever seen the nigga when he was over in Europe and the motherfucking fell asleep. He just looking at him. The nigga fell asleep during the speech, and Trump just looking at him. Nigga nod, and Trump just looking, giving him the meanest grill you. Trump, hey, look, he's funny. There need to be a cartoon. You can be a cartoonist. He's Archie Bunker. Is Trump not Archie Bunker? With money.
You're right.
Archie Bunker will say some shit that he thinks is very. He'll say it thinking that it's something that means good for everyone. It will be the most racist shit ever. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, man, Trump might be the new Archie Bunker with millions.
Man.
That motherfucking boy, the motherfucking boom, we ain't even talk. Tahir, we ain't build a podcast. Nigga was in Pittsburgh, south of Pittsburgh and Butler. First of all, any white boy in Western Pennsylvania in the mountains, I'm talking about any white boy shoots a rifle, goes hunting with his family. My family went hunting, hung deers up in the backyard, all that shit. So yeah, any white boy in Western Pennsylvania, he can shoot a fucking rifle, 300 yards, where the fuck you want, put it right on your coffee table, right beside your donut. So
that's real tough.
When they told me that shit happened in Butler, I already knew what it was. Oh no, one of the white boys with a rifle. All right. What? Right. But it's just, and then the motherfucker, you know, you start. You know what I thought of immediately? I seen people posting it, but I thought of Dre in the Express Yourself video where they shot at him, and then he told me like, that shit was crazy, yo.
That shit was wild.
That shit was wild. Cause do you remember when Ronald Reagan got assassinated? I mean, got attempted.
When he got shot, yeah. I remember that. I
remember that shit. I remember that shit. I was like 12 years old with some shit.
Yeah. And what was the dude who was next to him? And they named the gun law
James Brady.
James Brady. Yeah. I remember
the Brady Bill. The Brady Bill.
Yeah, the Brady Bill. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. So that shit happens, right? And politicians get online and say, "Oh man, you know, we denounce violence, political violence," and it's like, you know, no, you don't, because that's how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is built on. And the 4th of July just passed. You putting fucking fireworks in the air. That's all political violence. Symbolically, I know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if the rest of America don't know what the fireworks symbolize, but it's shame on them. But that's bombs in the air, bro.
Bombs in the air, yeah, motherfucker. This country was founded on violence.
That's the shit you're singing in your national anthem. It's fucking war song, bro. It's bombs in the air. It's political violence. So.
Oh man. What's the song? They just had the bridge that collapsed here in Baltimore at Francis.
I saw that.
But yo. He had slaves, and when he wrote the Star Spangled Banner, that motherfucker was writing that shit as a slave owner. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're trying to get motherfuckers to take his name off the bridge and name it after the people who died or some shit, but not him anymore because he's a big time racist, and that's the shit we're singing before the fucking Super Bowl. Fuck out of here. I was at the Pirate game. I had to take my hat off a couple Sundays ago. God damn it. I was around too many white people. I didn't want to get fucked up in Pittsburgh. I didn't want to get fucked up in the Berg, dog. Shit. Yo. Okay, well, yo, Buster, check it out, man. We about to wind this down. You hear the sound. We are going into the 4th quarter, exiting 3rd quarter. Mr. Brown, I want to ask you about the science, not the science of mixing.
Oh, man. Well, I haven't mixed in a very long time, but man, I spent a lot of years doing it, and it really tuned my ears to hear things. So what do you want to know?
The difference between Pro Tools and the SSL board.
So Pro Tools is a digital audio workstation. It's called a DAW.
Oh,
a
yeah.
DAW. You've got Pro Tools, you've got Logic, you've got Ableton, you've got Fruity Loops, you've got a whole host of digital audio workstations that allow you to do things in a computer that previously you had to go to a studio to do with a mixing console, like an SSL console or a Neve console or an MCI console, I forget, but there was a Sony console. So in the era that I came up in, we still used analog tape, 2-inch tape, and we ran the tracks on the tape through individual channels on a board. Now, on a computer sitting behind you, you have all of that capability in a microchip. So, in essence, the difference between Pro Tools and an SSL board is that the board is a piece of hardware where Pro Tools is software. You can use Pro Tools in a studio in conjunction with a SSL board if you have an interface that routes all of the outputs from your DAW into channels, so you can actually take that digital signal, run it through an audio interface. So let's say you've got 16 outputs or tracks on your DAW, and you want to run it into a console. You need an audio interface. You get an audio interface that has 16 in, 16 outs, or whatever, and you can run it back through the console. Vice versa, you can have live instruments or anything run through a live console, route it through the digital to audio interface, and put it into your computer and go back and forth.
Tracking. Like a lot of people who listen now don't understand how Motown, the Temptations, Smokey and them had to do their takes with the band playing at the same time and all that type of shit. Can you explain the difference? In, like me, I track right here. And I mess up. I do about 100 takes, 70 I give a fuck. So can you explain how Smokey Robinson and them couldn't do 100 takes? You know what I mean?
Well, they couldn't do 100 takes for a number of different reasons, and primarily one of the first reasons was that the medium to capture the recording, the tape, was only limited to maybe 15 IPS, 30 IPS, so maybe there was 12 minutes on the tape. Right? It's like photography with film. You can't take a million pics. You got to choose the right. That's why Gordon Parks is a GOAT and all these other ones who learned on film, because they had to get the right shot. So back in the 60s, you had 2-channel and then 4-channel recordings. And so you would have in a live room these things called baffles, which separated instruments from each other so that one sound didn't bleed into the microphone of another sound. So you might have the rhythm section all on the panned all to the right, and the guitars and the fucking piano or the organ slightly to the left, and then the vocals, somewhere else. And they would all have to sing in the same room, but with these sound baffles that would create a barrier so that, again, there wasn't a lot of bleed. But if you got those tapes and you soloed a Smokey Robinson vocal, or if you soloed a bass, or you soloed a drum, you can still hear the slight bleed of the other instruments on that track.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with the STEM programs that they have out now, where you can isolate acapellas, you can isolate a horn sound, you can isolate? How effective are those?
So I heard about it, and actually I started dabbling into the MPC again, but I haven't gone that deep into STEM. So it would be very effective. It's basically like isolating individual instruments, but a stem would be to isolate 4 bars of it, 8 bars of it, 2 bars of it. Rather, so you take that. So I'll give you a for instance. A Pete Rock, I was the assistant engineer on Shut 'Em Down. Classic remix. And one of the things that made it a classic was obviously the beat's crazy, but the filtered bass sound, people didn't understand how he did it 30 years ago. I saw it be done. So when you filter a signal, you can either have a high pass filter or a low pass filter. You can attenuate high frequencies or low frequencies to actuate or to intensify the desired frequency you want. So you take a song with a bass line and you take out the highs. You do a low pass filter. right? And you beef it up and you EQ it, so you only hear a little reminiscent of the highs and the mids, but you hear more of the bass. Well, that's what stems are doing, but they can do it digitally, where it just extracts that digital information where those frequencies lie and just takes them all out.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It just takes them all out. So the programming, the digital world can identify, like, it's still binary code. It's not fucking analog, but it can say this sound is in this number range or in this frequency range, and it just takes it out. And now you have that. It just isolates it. So it's like a filter on steroids. Like, it's just it's crazy.
Wow, because I have a lot of songs that I don't have the code for that I want people to remix, and I'm just like, that might be cute.
Well, now you can do it. You fucking, you just, especially you got an MPC or you got some shit or maybe whatever DAW you have, and you run it through. You just grab the vocal out of it, the stem or whatever, and everything else is gone, and you already got the tempo, so you're good to go.
I have one more question. Maybe my cousin has a question after me. But how long do those damn tapes last? I got some in my garage. Should I throw them away, or should I keep these 2-inch reels and try to transfer the shit?
I say find some place to transfer them before they go bad, because over time they will if they're not kept in a cool, dry place. If they're kept outside where there's humidity to them, then they're going to lose. It's like a rubber band. Over time, it loses its elasticity. There's elasticity on these tapes that keep it wound tightly to the heads when it goes on the tape machine. So you can keep them for a long time, but they have to be stored in a cool, dry place. If they're not, if they've been out in the elements, either they're frozen and they look like an ashy elbow motherfucker with no lotion, or they're just too hot and they'll kind of melt away. But the best thing that I would do, like, I actually threw some 2 inches out and I regret it because I was just mad and I was like, fuck this shit. But if you know a studio where you can take any analog tape you have and dump it to a Pro Tools file, do it sooner than later.
Yeah, true.
So at least you have it, because now storage is not a problem with digital. Storage was a problem with analog.
Yeah. And of course, what sounds better, digital or analog?
I think that it's what you're raised on is what you know as better. So sonically, for the last 20 years or 30 years even, we've been raised, even though we mixed and we recorded analog in the 90s, we used samplers which were digital by nature.
Yeah.
And the whole vinyl thing is new. Back when we were doing our shit, only DJs played vinyl. The consumer brought fucking CDs, so they're already listening to digital. So we over time we lost that sonic quality to really differentiate.
Yeah.
But hi-fi has come back, analog stuff has come back. Ears are being trained again to listen to things. Wow, that sounds really different. But what sounds better? It's really subjective, I mean, I like what I like.
Yeah.
Because it's what I grew up on. But without digital, we wouldn't have samplers. A sampler is a digital recreation of the source is a fucking, a loop from wherever, but it goes into the digital domain. As soon as it goes into your SP1200, your MPC, your fucking S950, it goes into the digital domain. It absolutely does. And every time you listen to this shit on a computer, on a fucking iPod back in the days, or a phone, it's in the digital domain. So even if you do a whole analog recording, you're going to hear it in the digital domain 99.9% of the time.
Yeah. And go ahead, cuz.
Are there, like, I know we just discussed one new tech. Are there any other new, like, musical trends or technology that you're excited about exploring, like in future work? Or?
Well, I haven't been as active in the production world as I was when I was doing house music some years ago, and so I was really into the Logic program because it gave me everything that I needed. Prior to that, I was just an MPC head and with rack mounted gear like Roland JV 1080s and shit, and Korg synthesizers all run through MIDI, that tactical feel. And then I went to the DAW, to the digital audio workstation, and just recently, a few months ago, because I've been playing that Dante's Hi-Fi, bringing all my old records out, I started sampling again. And, I did like 5 beats or whatever, trying to figure out this machine. But I'm not, actively making music every day or even keeping up with the latest trends to give you a fair answer on that. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. And if you take a year off, it's like you lost 10 years.
See what I'm holding? Credits. See what I'm holding? Some credits.
There you
Survival
go.
credits.
There you go. That's an SP 1200 beat. That's an SP 1200 beat. That's SP 1200 beat. That's the SP 1200. Yeah. So, I mean, music will always be a part of me, and even if I'm not making 20 beats a year, 100 beats, if I make one beat a year, I'm still a dude that makes beats. Like in my heart, I'm still a dude that makes beats. It'll always be that chapter is in the book. You're not ripping the page out just because I'm in a different chapter.
Yeah,
that's a part of the chapter. Brown on the beats. That's a part of the chapter. The engineer, the sound man, the dude who can listen. That's
round sound brown.
Round sound. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Matter of fact, man.
Don't get the bottle. Yo, my man Rock, he running for politician in DC now. Real shit.
He is. He was geared for that. But yo, look up this album that came out 29 years later. I did with MC Supernatural. It's on Spotify. Natural Disaster. Yeah, I did that album with him on SP12 and 95, bro, before 7A.
Oh man, y'all heard that shit? Go ahead and get that shit right now, man.
Supernatural, Natural Disasters. I was 25 years old.
So Supernatural at Rock the Bells freestyle for 8 years.
Dude, that's improvisation.
Still freestyle every year.
That's improvisation. We did a whole album. You talk about, bro, we did that shit in my crib on an SM57 mic. We took it to the studio and dumped everything from a 4-track, so we didn't have to do it again. And I kid you not, if we did 2 takes, that was a lot. Everything was a 1-taker. Everything was a 1-taker, bro. It was just you dealing with exact, huh?
He's incredible.
He has that gift, improvisation. It's that's Freestyle King. So yeah, that album is. Let me show you real quick.
Cuz we back in the booth. took some time, man. Took some time off, but yeah, we back in the booth.
There it is. That's the Supernatural record.
Oh, say where? I seen that cover before.
Yeah. So if you check out, it's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music.
Supernatural at right now. I saw he moved back to New York. Is he back in NY?
No, he visits, but he lives in LA. He's out there in Long Beach.
Dudes, them New York dudes get a taste of LA. They don't ever want to move back. They get that LA. They like
Miami. I didn't go nowhere. I stayed here, bro.
Yeah. Well, hey, hold on. Goddamn. Because we about to smoke some funk when this shit is over. I'm going out in the back for smoke some funky donkey. Well, yo, the 4th quarter is over. Sands on Sports is over. 112 is in the books. My man Djinji Brown just
thank you.
So yo, I got one thing to say. Everybody on the north side of Pittsburgh, I got my cousin t-shirts ready to go. We see these are for free. We ain't selling them. Only got a few select. My cousin Jacquette McCray Foster, Gayow. We got his t-shirt. So yo, y'all niggas from Pittsburgh that fuck with me, hit me up. I'll get a t-shirt in the mail, man. Cuzzo, what you got going on, man? Let us know what's going on. You know what I mean? Send us all that good shit.
Rapify.net. That's the social network for hip hop culture. Browser-based version is available now. You can sign up today. Create your profile page. Created it so we can actually take control of our culture. That's how it started. We actually saying who the poppin' artists are. So it's a social network based on our culture. Also want to say RIP to Chino XL.
Yeah.
That hit me pretty hard there.
DJ Polo.
Yeah, DJ Polo. Wow. Gone way too soon. And I just want to send love and strength to their families.
Mr. Brown, please let them know how they can get at you for physical training, for beats, for spiritual enhancement and light. Just let people know if they want to find you, this is where they can find you.
Well, I'm on Instagram, Djinji's Corner. I'm not really training people right now, and
Gotcha.
I'm taking some time off just
Oh,
to
let me ask you.
rebuild myself.
Let me ask you. You're in Miami. Evelyn Lozado from Basketball Wives said, "Hey, she needs a new trainer, and she saw you with the kettlebell. She wants the kettlebell training. Are you training Evelyn Lozado from Basketball?"
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking. You single? You single? So I just check.
I'm not a fool. I do dumb shit sometimes, but I'm not a complete fool. I mean, shit. If she's watching this shit and this shit get out to her, bro, I'm gonna give you a referral fee. I got you on a 10% kickback.
She's a baddie. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, bro. Take us home, man.
No, you good, man. You good. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm just, I'm here. I play once a month at Dante's Hi-Fi with the brother Rich Medina.
Rich.
We do a night called Holy Smoke, Jazz, Gospel, and whatever else the spirit hits, we play it.
Matter of fact, check it out. Rich Medina is going to be in D.C. August 22nd, and I'm writing on my calendar now so I don't forget. Rich Medina will be in Washington, D.C., and hopefully I'll be driving my ass down there to kick it.
Yes, sir. Tell him I said what's up. I'm going to see him on Sunday. I'm going to be with the brother on Sunday at Dante's. Yeah. If you're in Miami, definitely check out Dante's Hi-Fi.
Me and Busy B, we going to do a Miami tour coming up sometime this year, hopefully. But you're going to come down Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Miami. Just real quick, hit the record stores up. So when that does happen. Yeah, holla at me. Yes, sir. Well, that was a fucking great episode of Sands on Sports. And I'm Jason Sands. That's Tahir Jahi. That's my man, Djinji Brown. Don't say the fucking D or you get fucked up. Yo, this is Sands on Sports, and we out of here, y'all. Peace.